I like money, you like money. Sometimes I truly question why I'm not cheating in life to get money. So here's a deep dive on fraud. Why? Because it's all around us. I intend to elucidate and appreciate every form of fraud happening all around us in this video, and by the end, I hope you feel the need to go out there and get some money by any means capable. I'm going to section this video from smallest to biggest scale fraud, starting with what I call the three musketeers of minor scale internet fraud. The first is phishing scams. These are fake websites designed to look like real websites to take your information. You might even get emails with links to these websites claiming they're your bank, and after you go and log in, they have all your info, and you look the next day and ask, where'd all my money go?
I got a $100 check from my grandma, and my dad said I need to put it in the bank so it can grow over the years.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that check in a money market mutual fund. Then we'll reinvest the earnings into foreign currency accounts with compounding interest, and it's gone.
What?
Fake lottery scam. Someone will send you an email pretending to run a fake sweepstake claiming you've won a prize, but you're needing to pay a fee to claim the supposed prize you think you've won. Old people are most susceptible to this one. The last is tech support scams. This is anything claiming your computer or device is not working and need your information to fix it. Yes, I need your credit card number and the 3 digits on the back. As some general advice, if any untrusted source is asking for your personal information, just ignore it. But those three scams are by far the easiest to ignore, and I doubt any of you will fall for those. But this is the point where, going further, the average person could easily fall victim to any of this. So without further ado, let's talk about catfish scams. This one's probably the easiest to do at home. If you want to make some quick cash, just pretend to be a hot girl on the internet and ask for some money from old men. It's really that simple. I've also seen people impersonate big names like LeBron James just to ask people for money, and I can't even believe this works, but it does. Real estate fraud. As crazy as this sounds, someone can claim to be your landlord and even have fake documents saying that they own a certain building when in fact they don't, and then they'll collect rent from tenants and then just disappear. Now, this also includes mortgage fraud, which is just lying about how much you make or how much the property value is to get home equity loans. Investment fraud. Now, there are the typical Ponzi schemes out there, which is just using new investors' money to pay old investors until it collapses, but that's nothing like the latest and greatest crypto pump and dumps of today's time, done by many known internet gods such as Hawk Tua and even our President of the United States. Hashtag TrumpCoin2025. My man Donnie T is gonna make you a ton of money, I swear. But investment fraud can be any investment opportunity promising big returns when they'll just either take your money and light it on fire or take it and run. Employment fraud. Now you'll get a text promising fake work that is high paying for minimal effort for somebody else's profit. An example is like a work from home opportunity where you just mail envelopes all day, and not only will your boss use you just to get his work done, but they'll take your personal information, drain your accounts, and disappear. Debt collection fraud. This one is as easy as emailing a person they have an outstanding Target balance and they owe some money for groceries or whatever and reap the benefits. But professionals do this by targeting people with bank loans and sending them emails saying they have to pay their debt through your fake website and or owe interest and fees on top of that are just links to your bank account. Now we're getting to the point where you will face some real consequences if caught committing these types of fraud. Although the average person could commit these easily, let's talk about the next one, insurance fraud. This is people or companies tricking insurance companies to get money they're not entitled to. You could fake an accident or injury really easily. You could even burn houses down just to get money from insurance. This is so easy. Just misrepresent how exactly the car you got insured last month mysteriously slipped out and got totaled. Now your insurance company is forced to pay for it. Tax fraud. This is people or businesses trying to pay less than they owe, or collect faulty returns they don't deserve, or just ignoring their taxes altogether. Now, tax evasion on a small level is actually really hard to do. Don't pay your taxes for a little while, and the IRS will treat you as if you shot somebody in broad daylight and are walking free. But if, say, Jeff Bezos were to set up an offshore shell company on the Solomon Islands and use that company to buy all of his products here in the US at 3 times the normal price, he's just your average billionaire. We are nearing the end here with a specific type of fraud that you may actually need some tech skills to pull off successfully. Identity fraud. If you want to impersonate someone else, all you need is their personal information. This can be anything, your address, credit card, social security number. It's just getting this information is the hard part. If you have some family and friends you don't mind exploiting, then by all means, there's a ton of easy money / get out of jail free cards with others' IDs, bank information, debit cards, etc. But to do this and not feel guilty, you need some intricate methods. This is where card skimming comes in. Card skimming is just getting people's information after they use a gas station or a parking ticket machine using a little device that they put on the card reader itself. So it's important to watch for that, and those of you doing this at home, use a camera as well to capture people putting in their pins so that you have everything. But other methods, at a professional level, you could do anything from call people pretending to be a bank or whatever looking for personal info, or break into company databases for info. Falling for identity theft has some serious consequences as well. Not only will you lose money and tank your credit score, but if the scammer does something illegal with your info, you could face legal trouble accordingly. This last one, we're going to dive deep into the biggest scale fraud of all. My personal favorite fraudulent scheme of all time, the US dollar itself. Yes, that's right, you are the victim of the largest scam in human history. Every day you work for money, the Federal Reserve Bank is stealing it by printing loads of it, therefore making the dollar less valuable. And everyone wants to be around where the money is created, because the closer you are to where it's created, the more money you'll get. Because banks are creating credit out of thin air, 97% of the money supply is created and allocated by bank loan officers for the benefit of their own bank. Dollars actually used to be redeemable for gold, but in 1933, Franklin Roosevelt signed Executive Order 6102 forbidding the hoarding of gold valuables, confiscating gold, and since then the US dollar has been completely unbacked by anything. In March of 2020, the Federal Reserve reduced reserve requirement ratios to 0%, eliminating reserve requirements for all depository institutions, which just means banks don't have to have any money in their reserves to loan out money. And let me ask you, when you get a loan from the bank, where do you think the money comes from? According to Richard Werner, an economist professor at the University of Winchester, there have been three main theories about how banks work overall, and it's kind of changed over time. And the most recent and most prominent theory is the financial intermediation theory. This is which there is no money creation. The bank collects deposits, do credits, checks, analysis, or whatever, and lend out the exact same money, which literally means that your money is getting given to someone who takes out a loan from the bank, but you still think you have that money. Now there's also the fractional reserve theory, which is the banks still individually collect deposits and lend out the same money, but in between banks, as the banks kind of work in aggregate, you get things called money multipliers or deposit expansion multipliers, which equals money creation. But the third theory is the credit creation theory, and in 2014, Richard Werner did the first ever empirical study in the 5,000-year history of banking, and it proved that the credit creation theory is correct. Links in the description if you want to read stuff. But what is the credit creation theory? This is when the banks makes credit out of nothing when they issue a loan, meaning they put the money in your account. They don't transfer the money into your account. And bing bang boom, you have $200,000 in your bank account created by typing numbers into a screen. Newly created money being spent out in the public makes everyone's wages worth less, and inflation goes up. Inflation punishes money savers. 10% inflation doubles prices in 7 years. The Federal Reserve meetings transcripts only get shown like 5 years after the fact, which is no help whatsoever. The US dollar will end in hyperinflation, and eventually the US dollar will be worthless. That being said, we all rely on the US dollar too much. Other countries now use the US dollar to back their currency, so even if worst comes to worst, something might bail us out, which would lead banks to commit more fraud. But for now, this fraud scheme is funding global wars. And not to mention, what's the US debt numbers looking like now? Oh, yeah. So there you have it. Money isn't real. So money isn't real, but shouldn't that piss you off? There are people cheating every day for tons of money and you're still broke. Why? But nah, bro, just keep putting the fries in the bag. I also think it's important to note that it's totally possible to commit fraud on a legal level now because of technicalities and appeal to higher ups, and there are businesses now that are scamming people on a mass level, but that's neither here or there. If you want to learn about that, I'll put some videos in the card and the top and in the description for you guys to watch. One more thing, guys, I have one extra super secret money making strategy, and it is online gambling. And lucky for you, I have a long video on online gambling you can watch right now. You'll see on the video screen. Thanks for watching, guys. Drop a like and subscribe. I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.